everybody. Jamie Maloney here, host of That Business Show 2.0, where we talk with different business owners, community, and political leaders each morning here on TampaBayRadio.com. Also, podcast available over on iTunes. If you're finding us on the airwaves, whether it's online or a podcast, we've been on radio and I wouldn't say television, but podcast for 2 years now. We talk with different professionals and have interviewed over 1,000 different professionals through the year. So a lot of great episodes available on demand over on our YouTube channel. Just go to thatyoutubechannel.com, and also all the audio is available over on iTunes. And again, thousands of different entrepreneurial interviews. And if you're an entrepreneur or a business leader that you'd like and would like to come onto the program, please visit tbsinterview.com for more information. A lot of FAQs over there on the program and what you can get for coming onto the program, and reach up to 5,000 listeners per show. We do carry a wide audience from across the globe here on That Business Show 2.0. So on today's program, we're going to be talking about mosquitoes. We got Brandon Allen and Wes Rogers in studio with us today. So gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And if you live in Florida like we do, there are tons and tons of mosquitoes because there's lakes, there's waters everywhere. I myself live on a lake, and so these guys can come to your home, spray the home, and get rid of those mosquitoes, and they do regular treatments, and it can make your home feel mosquito-free, or be mosquito-free, I should say. So Brandon, open us up. Tell us a bit more about mosquito hunters.
So mosquito hunters, we come to your yard and we help you enjoy it again. You know, mosquitoes, 3 things you can count in life is death, taxes, and mosquito, right? Mosquitoes,
right.
more problems, right?
Yeah, and they're always, found, correct me if I'm wrong, they're always found around wet areas and mostly in the summer. Am I correct about that, or are they year-round?
They're not mostly in the summer. So mosquitoes, they fly over 50-degree weather. Standing water is where they breed at. But where do you think their food source is at?
I would have said it's the water. Or actually, the blood, right? I mean, they bite you and they suck the blood out of you, right?
Well, we're not their food source. They only bite us for proteins to lay for the larvae. It's only females that bite us. Their food source is actually vegetation, plants, and shrubs. So that's where you're going to fight them. The standing water is where they breed. Like that bottle cap right there, if you had water in it sitting in your yard, hold 300 larvae eggs.
Wow, incredible.
You know, people we're seeing, they don't understand where water can held be standing water. Like if you don't clean your gutters, you're going to have standing water, high impact area.
Okay.
So we like to educate our customers when we go out as well.
Okay, and when Brandon has come to my home and did a service, knocked out the mosquitoes in my yard, and shared with me a lot of different interesting facts about mosquitoes and the prevalence of them and the risk of them. Share with the audience just some of these facts that you had shared with me about mosquitoes.
All right, I'm going to do a quick game. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions,
okay,
and I want you to give me an answer, a number, okay? So we're talking about all around the world. So if I told you about, let's see, which one I want to go with first. If I told you about sharks, how many related deaths on average each year do they
Sharks,
kill?
I would say probably 20 shark deaths a year.
So it'd be 10. So elephants and tigers.
Elephants and tigers, well, there's not too many of those outside of Africa, at least I don't think. So, I don't know, 5.
100.
100, okay.
Crocodiles. Now, remember in Africa,
Does that include alligators too?
They love to eat people in Africa.
Yeah, I would say probably, I don't know, crocodiles are pretty aggressive. I don't know, about 40.
1,000.
1,000 crocodiles,
yes.
Okay. See,
now, dogs, surprising number.
Dogs, I would go high because I grew up in West Virginia. Dogs ran all over the place. I was always fearful of getting killed by a dog myself. So I would say probably 100.
25,000.
25,000. I'm not even close
yes.
in those days.
Now, snakes.
I don't know, I'm going to go high here. 50,000.
Good guess, 50,000.
All right, I got one. Finally got one.
Now, people kill people on average each year minus wars.
Oh, human deaths? Oh, probably a couple 100,000.
475,000.
475,000. That's incredible.
Now, mosquitoes.
1 million.
725,000.
725,000 deaths related to mosquitoes?
They are the deadliest creature in the world, but no one relates mosquitoes to that.
Is it the malaria, or is it just
It's just from the diseases that they carry and the bit, and there's no treatment for them. Everybody's worried about Zika, but West Nile and malaria and stuff are way worse than Zika right now.
Okay.
But Zika is not fairly new. It started in the 1920s, and people that had it, it stays dormant. 80% of people that are carrying it don't know they're having it.
Mosquitoes are carrying the malaria, they're carrying West Nile, they're carrying Zika, and I guess they're carrying a whole range of other bloodborne diseases too.
Yeah, hey, it's a problem for the dinosaurs, right? Look at Jurassic Park.
Right, exactly.
When it seemed.
And Zika, I haven't heard too much in the news about that lately. Is that going down because of mosquito control?
It's not going down, actually. It's moving up. I think it was like a month or two ago. A couple people in Pinellas County was actually tested positive for Zika, so it's still around. It's just, you're just not hearing about it.
Gotcha. Okay. So tell us about your service and how this works.
Well, we manage people's property. We come out every 21 days to treat their property, and we treat those high-impact areas. We're seeing great results right now when we go out to people's yard. We get usually about 85% reduction on the first treatment, and then with the second and third, about 90, 95. If to get the best results, though, you got to be proactive with us. So don't leave no standing water. Clean your gutters. Don't leave no tarps or buckets in your yard, and you're going to get the best results. So it's teamwork, integrated management.
Right. Wes, tell us a little bit about some of the maintenance that you can do to also supplement the services he was starting to touch on.
Correct. So it's called integrated pest management, and that's just where you're looking at multiple ways to deal with mosquitoes. Obviously, when we come out, we're going to be putting a barrier spray down, a couple different things in that barrier spray, a pyrethrin and an IGR. But as well as any customer, any homeowner can go around their yard, as Brandon said, they can clean their gutters, make sure there's no standing water. Gosh, just a bucket in the backyard, even turned upside down, there's still a little bitty rim, and water will sit there. And if it's a couple days of rain, it's going to stay that way. And again, it takes about 3 days for a mosquito to lay an egg, for the larva to turn to pupa, and then go into a full mosquito. So it doesn't take long to happen. So you want to make sure those areas are clear. You want to make sure if you have, some of our customers have some of the nice statues that have the water flowing, but they decided to turn it off.
Right.
So that's a great area for standing water or breeding mosquitoes.
So if the water is moving, then that deters mosquitoes there?
Correct.
Yes.
It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder for them to have the full cycle in moving water, but in standing water. And if you have a pond or a small area that you have, you can put guppies, you can put goldfish. They eat the larva. Those are things you can do to help out. And then you call us.
How long does each treatment last? How does your service work?
So to get the best effects, we need to come out every 21 days. And the difference between us and other company is within that 21-day time frame, if you come out, we're going to come back out free of charge, no question asked, and retreat.
Okay. And this service, I mean, for people that are watching and listening, not only is it beneficial to homeowners, but your service works great for like maybe an event planner who's doing an event outdoors, call you in for just a single service for that event. Talk to us about this.
So let's say you're having a wedding, you want us to come out, or you're grilling a barbecue. We can come out the day before and come treat your yard and give you those effects, reduce the impact, so you can go enjoy that event, right? I mean, you're getting married, right?
Right, so you can come in.
You don't get bit up,
Because that's something an event planner is not going to think about. And I know that's one of the areas that you work to educate people around the community on is your service to event planners. And so if you're an event planner and you're watching this, consider that too. Just individual or single treatments. But if you're a homeowner, you can call them for regular service. They came out, treated my yard. I think they're in and out in about 15 minutes. They wear a backpack, you come in, you spray the yard. What all is involved in the treatment? What's going on out there?
So in a treatment, we use a backpack with a 4-gallon blower. Typically on a house, a half an acre or less, we'll use a little over a gallon. We use a couple different chemicals, as I said before. We use a pyrethrin, and it's microencapsulation, which basically means there's little thousands of plastic bubbles that keep bursting and releasing the chemical. By the way, once this dries, which takes about 30-40 minutes in with the nice Florida sun, it's going to be fine for people to go out. It's not absorbed through the skin. Mammals, we have great immune systems. It's not going to bother you whatsoever. Your dog, it's great for the dog. It's not going to bother them. And we use a growth regulator as well, and that stops the pupa and the larva in the cycles also, so they don't come full adults. So we hit it 2 different ways. And as Brandon said, if we come every 21 days, it peaks at that second and third day and slowly goes down. By the 21st day, we need to come back out. And if we do that, you can't eliminate all mosquitoes on a property. That's an impossibility. But we can get to 90-95%, and people can enjoy their yards.
How are people treating mosquitoes that you find today? I was always told that you use like the citronella candles and things of that nature. I also noticed anytime we'd fire up the grill or something that they would come to the grill and stuff. But what are some other ways that you see people treating mosquitoes, and how's your service better than that?
Well, there's a misting system that's out there that people put in their backyard. For one, it's very expensive. I don't think it's affordable for most people, and it breaks easy, and then you got to go put the products in it. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to really get great results. And it does actually treat the high-impact areas where you need it to be, or where they're going to be at. and you put a lot of, product on your property. Us, we're very environmentally friendly. We're just treating those high impact areas.
Right. Now, the chemicals you had mentioned are perfectly safe to pets, to vegetation. Is there any risk to any type of specialty landscaping that somebody may do or anything like that?
No, it's the products we use. Once they dry, they can't be absorbed through the skin, so they're fine for people, for dogs, for cats. We also make sure that we stay away from bodies of water with fish. We make sure we follow our labels and we're environmentally friendly. We do not spray flowering plants. That allows your bees to be able to get pollen, take it back, and they're not going to be affected by this because it's important to be environmentally friendly.
How far from a body of water will mosquitoes circulate? If you live in an area with the nearest, large body of water away from you, are you going to still be plagued with mosquitoes, even though there's not a large body of water around?
Yes, absolutely. They can travel up to 75 yards, and that's just, they can smell and travel up to 75 yards with humans. So we emit carbon dioxide and other excretions through your skin, and that's what they smell and that's what they go for.
How long does the mosquito live? And just what's the life cycle of a mosquito?
Usually 30 to 45 days.
30 to 45 days. And you're interesting, you said earlier that it's only the females that end up biting us, correct?
Can't live with them, can't live without them, right?
So how do the males eat? They just eat the vegetation then?
Yes.
They live off the vegetation, and they get the females get the protein from the blood. So how do the males get their protein?
Well, the female needs it for reproduction, so the males don't need it.
Gotcha.
So that's
okay.
what the blood's for.
All right. What are your service areas in and around, again, based in Tampa Bay here?
We do all over Tampa. So we do Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Hernando. We go all over. Wherever mosquitoes take us, we go.
All right. Again, currently talking with Brandon Allen and Wes Rogers of Mosquito Hunters here in Tampa. You can give them a call at 813-609-8440. Again, 813-609-8440 or visit mosquitohunterstampa.com. When we come back from the break, Brandon's got a very inspiring story about how he came into this business wanting to be a cop, but unfortunately befell upon a tragic accident. So he's going to share that story with us when we come back from the break on That Business Show 2.0.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Hey, and we're back to That Business Show 2.0. I am your host, Jamie Maloney. Again, you find this show on here weekdays, 7 a.m. on TampaBayRadio.com, and also available on demand over on iTunes as a podcast. Again, talking to business owners, entrepreneurs, political and community leaders each and every morning on the program. We'd like to invite you onto the program. Learn more over at tbsinterview.com. Guests in studio with me today, Brandon Allen and Wes Rogers of Mosquito Hunters here based in Tampa Bay. Learn more about their service over at mosquitohunterstampa.com. And Brandon, you fell into this business as a result of a tragic accident that occurred in your life because you were going to be a police officer, a cop at one point. But share this story with the audience, please.
So to understand how I got here, you have to go back to where it started. So when I was 5 years old, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. In kindergarten, we had one of the dads. He was a police officer, and he took us around in his cop cars, and I got to play in the siren and everything. So right then and there, I knew I wanted to be a cop. So I guess I wanted to be Barney Five. My whole life I prepared for it. So I made sure I volunteered. I did everything I needed to do. Good grades. I didn't do no drugs or nothing. Didn't experiment. So it kept me clean. I did sports and everything. So I made sure I followed these steps to make sure that I could get a job as a police officer. I know they take a polygraph, so I was always worried if I tried this, and I'm going to have to ask that. They're going to ask me that question, and I'm going to have to tell them I did or I didn't do it. So I wanted to stay clean, which is a good thing because I never did drugs. So,
right.
I went to St. Leo. Got my degree in criminal justice, graduated in April of 2011, and then, right after I graduated, I had my son, June 6, 2011. His name is Landon. Mm-hmm. So I was going to all these interviews at the time after I had my son, and finally Hillsborough County called. It's my dream place to get. Great place. Whatever. So August 18th, I went there, had my interview. They told me I'm all good. I just had to take their physical ability test, which is no problem for me because I worked out very hard. I always worked out every day. So I could pass their test like that. Mm-hmm. So the next day, after I knew I had the job, my mom called me. My mom is sick. She has lupus. So my sister, she was in 8th grade at the time, and I lived about 2 miles down from her. She called me. It's like, hey, I need you to take your sister school shopping. School is starting up next week. So I'm like, okay, I'll go take her shopping. So I put my son in the car, and then we go and pick up my sister. And then probably right in front of Meadow Point in 54, we were sitting at a light. It was just a rainy day, and I was sitting at the light, and my son was he was fussing. So I reached back there, and I was trying to give him his pacifier, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw this Dodge Ram 250 coming, going very fast, and they weren't paying attention, and I knew I was going to get hit. So I couldn't react because it was going so fast. So they hit my, I had an Explorer at the time. They hit my Explorer, and it pushed me up probably about 10 yards. But as they pushed it, I don't really remember much afterwards, but my head hit the wheel, and I was knocked out. So ambulance came, all that stuff. I ended up suffering a brain injury. Mm-hmm. So after that time frame, probably about a couple days later, my back went out. But I was just in so much pain, and over that time frame, I kept on getting worse and worse, and then I started having seizures. And, doctors couldn't tell me why. I could barely walk, and I was working at Publix at the time, mm-hmm. Too. So I was working full time, taking care of my son, and then. It actually forced me to stop working. And
how hard was the accident? How hard did they hit you?
I don't remember the impact so much. I just remember my head struck in the wheel and then being knocked out.
And you said your son was in the back seat?
He was in the back seat.
Did he come out unscathed?
He was unscathed. He was in his car seat, so he was just 2 months at a time.
So even though it came from behind, he was in the car seat, and you were in the front seat, but you absorbed the impact. That just goes to show you the importance of car seats out there.
I had my seatbelt on. It probably could have been a lot worse, but I think because I was turned like this sideways, and I saw it coming, I tensed up. And I had like an awkward eating like this. I had like a big scar right here. Okay, so you were
turned around looking at your son in the back seat, and then that moment of impact, and that propelled you forward into the dash, and then caught you.
And my sister, she was also in the front seat. She only suffered whiplash. It's a funny story with that is a couple weeks before, I just had an Oldsmobile, and I went and sold it and got an Explorer. So if I was in my Oldsmobile, it probably went like that. So I guess the grace of God, was watching out for me there.
Yeah, the Explorer absorbed more of that impact. Could have resulted in death, or had you been in the Oldsmobile. So recovery time. Talk to us about this.
So the next couple months, I was going to doctors, trying to get better. Doctors, the thing I don't like about them is they don't treat the problem. They just want to dope you up.
Right.
So they gave me so many pain pills and all this stuff, and I was going here and there, and I could barely walk.
Well, they don't fully understand back pain and seizures and those types of things. I mean, there's so many different sources of it, and they don't really know what to do sometimes, I think.
I was just in so much pain. For me, my whole life, I always worked out, I always ran. I've always been a positive person. I believe positivity comes from working out for me, so I need to be able to do that. And if I don't work out, I'm one of those people that go crazy, because I grew up, in the country. There wasn't much else to do. Discipline was, for me, was my dad. He never spanked us, but if I did something bad, he would put me outside. I'd either run or I'd hold a 25-pound weight and hold it for a minute. And if I didn't do it for a minute,
that was your punishment?
That was my punishment.
Well, at least build the muscles at the same time.
Yeah,
my parents would chase me around the flies water. That's what they spanked me with. So I would run. But it was my mom that would do that. She would chase me with that flies water and stuff. So that was my punishment.
So in November, I told the doctor I wanted to get back running again. I want to get back healthy. I still had hope that I would be, a cop, that somehow I could find a way if I could just get better, But, from that time frame, I was having seizures week after week. I couldn't control it. I couldn't see them coming. And if you have a seizure and you can't control them, they take away your license.
Oh, yeah, you can't drive. You don't know when they're coming.
I couldn't drive, and then the doctor told me I couldn't be with my son alone.
Wow.
Yeah, so, depression started to hit with me. And, these seizures medications, they also treat this for bipolars. They mess with your neurons in your head. So there's just like this brain fog.
Changes your personality some?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear that.
There's just this brain fog, and you can't think straight, and I was almost becoming like a zombie. So the back doctor I met, he told me I needed surgery on my back if I wanted to get better. So he wanted to do a fusion. I told him I was against doing that, but there was another procedure called endoscopic discectomy. He said people are getting great results with this, and I was desperate at the time, wasn't thinking straight. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have done it.
Right. Yeah, fusion surgery is a very difficult surgery, especially at a young age. I suffered from back pain in my early 20s and saw a neurologist, and they proposed fusion surgery on myself as well. Fortunately, I came across a procedure called VAX-D, vertical axial decompression therapy, which was nothing more than a 4-week procedure. I had to go 4 weeks in a row, Monday through Friday, lay on a table on my stomach and hold these 2 little bars up in front of me, and they put something around my waist, and it would just pull and hold and then relax, pull and relax. And the theory was by taking the pressure off the spinal discs that it would draw in nutrients and regenerate. Well, it worked. It took away the pain, and I didn't have to have fusion surgery. I still have some back pain here and there, but in my early 20s, it was nonstop. I just couldn't get rid of it. I was seriously considering fusion surgery and stuff. So, but if you're ever proposed fusion surgery, definitely look at other options on the market. So talk to us about after that. What happened?
So January 5th, I ended up, going to get surgery, endoscopic discectomy. I thought this would get better for me. I had this shooting pain down my leg. So the one thing I would say, it did take away that pain, but it didn't solve my problem I was having. So January 16th, 2012, I had another seizure. It was very bad, 104-degree temperature. I wasn't coherent. Was rushed to the hospital. They thought I was. I forget the word they called it, but they thought I had a brain disease because I wasn't coherent. I couldn't talk, nothing like that. So I was in a hospital for about a week and a half. I lost about 15 pounds, and they put me on different seizure medications, and I was turned into a zombie. I couldn't remember anything. So over the next couple of months, I was in and out of the hospital. I got to the point where I became very depressed. And I usually don't like to talk about this, but I'm learning to open up to get people to share that you can hit rock bottom and you get back up. Now, I was married at the time, but this time frame, looking back, I probably wouldn't want to be. No one probably want to be with the person I was.
Right.
I became someone I wasn't. I just wanted to stay in bed. I didn't want to do anything.
So how did you begin to recover then? Where did you find a medication that put everything at ease? What was the recovery like?
No medication actually did it for me. Actually, I had to hit rock bottom to get where I am now. The time frame, Mitt Romney was running for president, Obama back in 2012, and I watched one of his speeches. I was in the hospital at the time. I was still very sick, in and out. So I was a week in there, and no one came and saw me. I was alone. I lost everything. My wife left me. Ended up getting divorced. So was barely seeing my son. I finally, I prayed, and Mitt Romney said, in order to be successful, a person should be an entrepreneur to own his own business. I always had the entrepreneur spirit since I was a kid. I used to organize people. We used to do a car wash over in our apartment complex, getting people to make money. I always wanted to make money to go so I can go have a cheeseburger because my mom wouldn't go buy me a cheeseburger. Fat boy problem, right?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. So, I finally decided right then and there. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to be a copy one. They're not going to touch me. But this is something I can do. So right then and there, I took pen to paper, and I made a list of goals for myself. And I had a 5-year plan to get myself back healthy, get myself back to work, and go do what I want to do and live my own life. So
you started the entrepreneurial journey motivated by Mitt Romney, a great entrepreneur out there, and so today servicing the Tampa Bay area with mosquito hunters and taking care of all the mosquitoes in our area. Real quick, got about a minute left. Do you still suffer from seizures, or did you get that under control?
I finally did get it under control. I was able to get back to working out. I got married again to my wife, Haya. We had a daughter. So, the last goal of mine on that sheet I carry around with me was to own my own business. I knew I wanted to go in the service industry, but I hadn't decided at the time what I want to go with.
Yeah. Well, you've done it today with mosquito hunters, and we greatly appreciate you coming in studio here and sharing the story about your business and about your accident as well. So a good discussion. Brandon Allen, Wes Rogers, mosquito hunters, thank you both so much for being in studio today.
Thank you so much.
And again, they service the Tampa Bay region. Reach out to them, mosquitohunterstampa.com. You can give them a call at 813-609-8440. Get 813-609-8440. Learn more about this program and catch us Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. at tampabayradio.com and on demands over on iTunes anytime. You've been listening to That Business Show 2.0 with Jamie Maloney.